Carl Lawson signing with the Dallas Cowboys is one of those moves that may not immediately dominate national headlines, but when you really break it down, it has the potential to dramatically reshape the identity of this defense, especially the front seven. This is the type of signing that smart football people love because it's not flashy for the sake of flash. It's purposeful, calculated, and rooted in understanding what wins games in the NFL. The Cowboys didn't just add another body to the defensive line. They added proven power, veteran toughness, and a disruptive presence that immediately raises the standard of play in the trenches. Like, when you watch the tape, when you understand the scheme, and when you look at what Dallas has been missing in certain moments over the past few seasons, Carl Lawson fits like a missing puzzle piece. Lawson brings something that doesn't always show up in box scores, but absolutely shows up on Sundays, and that is consistent physical pressure. He is not a finesse-only edge rusher who disappears if he doesn't get a clean lane. He wins with leverage, hand usage, strength, and a relentless motor. Offensive linemen do not get comfortable when Carl Lawson is on the field. He collapses pockets, he forces quarterbacks to move off their spot, and he disrupts timing even when he doesn't record a sack. That kind of impact is invaluable, especially for a Cowboys defense that already features elite talent like Micah Parsons. When offenses are forced to account for multiple threats up front, everything behind that line becomes better. From the linebackers flowing freely to the secondary getting extra seconds to make plays. What makes this signing even more important is the context of where the Cowboys are as a team. Dallas is clearly in win now mode. They are built to compete for deep playoff runs, and in the postseason, games are often decided in the trenches. You don't win in January by simply outscoring people. You win by controlling the line of scrimmage, by wearing offenses down, and by being able to generate pressure without blitzing constantly. Carl Lawson helps Dallas do exactly that. He gives them another reliable option who can rotate in, stay fresh, and still play with high intensity late in games when offensive linemen are tired and mistakes start to happen. One of the biggest benefits of Lawson joining the Cowboys is what it allows the coaching staff to do schematically. Dallas loves to move Micah Parsons around, lining him up at edge, linebacker, or even inside in certain looks. Like, that versatility becomes even more dangerous when you have another experienced edge defender who can hold his own on the opposite side. Lawson doesn't require extra help. He doesn't need to be hidden. He can play his role and execute it at a high level, which gives the defense flexibility. That flexibility is what turns a good defense into a great one because it makes game planning against them far more difficult. Carl Lawson also brings a level of physicality that sets a tone. He plays angry football. He plays with urgency. He plays like someone who understands that every snap matters. That mentality is contagious, especially in a defensive line room. Young players see how he prepares, how he practices, how he finishes plays, and that raises the overall intensity of the group. Defensive football is as much about mindset as it is about talent, and Lawson's presence reinforces the kind of culture Dallas wants on that side of the ball. From a pure football standpoint, Lawson excels at setting the edge against a run. That is something that often goes unnoticed by casual fans, but coaches and teammates value it immensely. Like, when a defensive end can hold his ground, force running backs to bounce outside and funnel plays back into traffic, it makes life easier for everyone else. Hey, the Cowboys have at times struggled with consistency against the run, particularly when offenses attack the edges. Lawson helps stabilize that area. He plays with strong hands, good pad level, and understands gap discipline. He doesn't freelance at the expense of the defense, and that reliability matters. Another underrated aspect of this signing is depth. The NFL season is long and brutal. Injuries happen, fatigue sets in, and teams that survive are usually the ones with quality depth up front. Lawson gives Dallas insurance. He gives them the ability to rotate without a massive drop-off in production. That means fewer snaps for players who might otherwise be overworked and fresher legs in crucial moments. In close games late in the fourth quarter, having a veteran pass rusher who can still explode off the line can be the difference between a stop and a loss. Lawson's experience across different teams and defensive systems also works in Dallas's favor. He has seen a wide variety of offensive schemes, protections, and tendencies. That knowledge shows up in subtle ways like recognizing blocking patterns, anticipating play calls, and adjusting pre-snap alignments. Those small details can turn near misses into sacks and pressures into turnovers. Quarterbacks at the NFL level thrive on rhythm and comfort, and Lawson is the type of defender who constantly disrupts both. What makes this signing even smarter is that Dallas doesn't need Carl Lawson to be the star of the defense. They already have stars. What they need is someone who complements those stars, who amplifies their effectiveness, and who makes opposing offenses pay for focusing too much attention elsewhere. Like, Lawson thrives in that role. He is at his best when he can attack favorable matchups, when he can take advantage of one-on-one situations, and when he can be aggressive without carrying the entire burden of the pass rush. In Dallas, that is exactly the role he steps into. There is also a psychological element to this move. Offensive coordinators now have another name they must account for in their game plans, another film study assignment, another player who cannot be ignored. That alone changes how teams prepare for the Cowboys. You can't slide protection to everyone. You can't double team every edge. Someone is going to get a favorable matchup, and Lawson is more than capable of winning those battles consistently. For Cowboys fans, this signing should inspire confidence. It shows that the front office understands the importance of building from the inside out and prioritizing the defensive line. It shows that they are not content with simply relying on one superstar to carry the defense. Instead, they are investing in a collective approach where multiple players contribute and the unit functions as a cohesive, aggressive force. That is how championship defenses are built. Of course, every signing comes with questions, and it's fair to acknowledge them. Lawson has dealt with injuries in the past, and durability is always a concern for players who play such a physically demanding position. However, Dallas is not asking him to carry an overwhelming snap count. They are asking him to be effective, to be disruptive, and to be ready when his number is called. In that role, his risk is minimized and his impact is maximized. When used correctly, Lawson can be one of the most efficient players on the defensive roster. And another important factor is motivation. Veteran players who get opportunities with contenders often play with renewed urgency. Lawson knows what is at stake. He knows this is a chance to cement his value, to contribute meaningfully to a playoff push, and to remind the league what he can do when healthy and in the right system. That kind of motivation often leads to some of the best football of a player's career. As the season unfolds, don't be surprised if Carl Lawson becomes one of those names that keeps popping up in critical moments. third and long pressures, red zone stops, late game series where the opposing offense suddenly can't move the ball. Those moments may not always show up in highlight reels, but they win games. And when you go back and watch the tape, you'll see Lawson right in the middle of the chaos, doing the dirty work that allows stars to shine and defenses to dominate. This signing also sends a message to the locker room. It tells the team that management is committed to winning and willing to add pieces that help them get there. That matters. Players notice when the front office supports them with smart acquisitions. It builds trust and belief is a powerful thing in professional sports. Ultimately, Carl Lawson supercharging the Cowboys' front seven is not hype. It's reality rooted in football fundamentals. Power, depth, experience, and effort are the pillars of strong defensive play, and Lawson brings all four. He may not be the loudest name, but he is exactly the type of player championship teams rely on when the games get tougher and the margins get smaller. So as the season approaches and the Cowboys defense takes the field, keep your eye on number 58, crashing off the edge, collapsing pockets, and setting a physical tone. Because sometimes the most important signings aren't the ones that dominate headlines, they're the ones that quietly make everything else work better. Carl Lawson has the opportunity to be exactly that player for the Dallas Cowboys, and if things fall into place, this could end up being one of the most impactful moves of the year for this defense and for the team as a whole.